Hi there. We are on the session number 3 of Python for Beginners course. So I think we have made a very good progress of introduction of Python, and as well along with setting up the Python environment on your system. So I have the chapters and the topics on my screen for your reference, and then this is what it is. And we have completed the introduction pieces and then setup. So as we discussed in the last session. So we have set up 3 IDEs on your system along with the Python 3.7. To the guys who have tried, replicating the same on your system, probably you would have it now. So the Anaconda, that will help you to install all the IDEs. Basically, you have, Spider, you have Jupyter, and you have your PyCharm as well. Okay, in case if you do not like to basically do this or use any of these IDEs, you're also happy to use the terminal as well. So we have seen all of these exercises and way to install the content and all of that in the last session. So this session, we are actually going a little deeper into programming. Okay, so we will not rush into programming right in today's session, but I'm going to introduce you all of this, right? Before even you start doing an extensive programming or learn the actual steps of programming, you need to understand the basics in the programming, right? So I'm going to tell you what is a print statement by, from the session yesterday. You guys must have learned what is a print command, by the way. Whatever you give inside the print, it basically prints it on the screen for you. That's it, right? So that's the one. But we are going to see much more detail about print along with the other packages called OS, date, sys, and how do you install any new package that we have gone through. We will spend some time there, and then how to load packages, what is such kind of process with respect to the operating system. All of this we will check it out. I'm sorry to interrupt. Somebody is on not on mute. I'd request everybody to be on mute. Thank you for understanding. So as we started in the last session, right? So let's open up the PyCharm. So PyCharm is my friend going forward for all the sessions. Okay, so let me go to PyCharm. So as you open up the PyCharm, if you have created the project in the last session, you have Python for beginners already here listed. Okay, in case if you have created in the last session. So I'm going to open the same project. Okay, so inside the same project, I do have my file which I've created yesterday, which is Python to Jupyter, Python to PyCharm, and also Spider. I have brought all of them into the same project after the session. I just moved those files into this location so that all my code is basically under the same project, so that if I have to share it with you guys later, it is very easy for me to share this bundle. All right. So now you are seeing my PyCharm screen, and this is going to be our friend throughout the course. Okay. In case if someone wants to try the same thing on Spider, please do it. I basically advise to do it, right? Just because we are using this PyCharm, it doesn't mean that you have to stick to PyCharm. You can learn on PyCharm, but you can replicate it on Spider. You can replicate it on Jupyter. Please make it as a trial and error thing so that you learn all the tools as well. I'm sorry to say this, Chaitu Karadi. I'm sorry you are not on mute. Please be on mute. Thank you. So let's continue this. I have few topics for you guys as session number 3 here. Though you have it, I have just printed them, well before the meeting, but making sure that I should not miss all of these topics. But I'm going to, actually take them, type them for you on the screen and then explain each of them. Okay. Even though I have all of this ready on my screen, why am I typing it on the screen again for you? Because I would like you to, go and do the practice the same way. Consider this as only a reference, and you have to also make your hands dirty. The more you make your hands dirty, only then you're going to learn better. Okay. I'm sorry to say this again. Still, I see somebody else on not on mute. I request everybody check your screens and please be on mute. All right. Thank you. So let's see that, right from understanding what is input. Okay. Even before that, let's understand what is this hash. Okay. Any line in a Python program file which is starting with hash is called a comment. What is comment to Python? comment to Python or any program is nothing but it doesn't execute that line. It basically skips the line. So why do we use comments? We basically use comments to write our own sentences, the own statements. If you want to describe something, you basically write it with hash as a starting character. As soon as Python console sees hash as the first character of a line, it basically skips executing this. If you want to try that. So I'm selecting this line, which is starting with hash, and I'm just right clicking it. And as I told you in the last session, you just have to say execute selection in the Python console. If not, for me, the keyboard shortcut is command and return. So from now, I'm going to use only command return to execute that line. Okay. So just for your understanding, I have shown it how to check your own keyboard shortcuts. Please see what is your own keyboard shortcuts and try to replicate it. So I'm selecting this and I'm saying command return. As soon as you say command return here, see, this particular command has passed to the console, but there is no action taken by Python. Okay. So if you want to see what is the action taken by Python, anything which is not starting with hash, that is the command for Python. It executes it inside the Python kernel. All right. Now let's start with what is import sys. Python by default is a very light programming kernel. What does it mean? By default, when you log into the Python kernel, it doesn't load everything as Java does. It doesn't load all the packages that any other sophisticated programming language does. It's a very, very light programming language, which means you have to tell Python what packages it should import and then use it in your Python console. And these packages should be available on your local system readily. Now, such packages are already there with the installation, along with the installation of Python, like sys, like OS, like, there are a lot of things like HTML, we also have something called datetime, right? We have something called logger. So there are a lot of modules. We call it also packages. Please do not get confused in the future conversations as well. Packages, libraries, modules. These three are one and the same. Okay, to make it very, very easy for your understanding, right? After you get to a situation where you know actually what are these, you can clearly understand the differences then. But at this point of time, just blindly consider that whether you call it as a package, whether I call it a module, or whether I call it a library, it is one and the same. All right. So here I'm saying import OS, and import OS is nothing but the package, and it is also a default library. See, I call the same thing with different synonyms. Okay. So let me start with sys. Okay. So I'm just, first of all, if you see anybody coding in Python, even before these comments, they basically write import statements. Why? So when I say import sys, what does it do? It basically, I'm executing it. See, on the system, it is basically executing import sys command. That means what is it doing? There are default packages available on your system with the name called sys, and those packages are being imported into your Python console here. So that inside the package called sys, there would be multiple functions available for you to reuse for your requirement. All right. So I think it has stuck because of other processes running in the background. As you see, this is basically not allowing my commands to run. This is like a performance issue. So let me kill this out. I'm killing this. See, if you want to kill it, you have to do this. And it is not killing my session as well. There is something fishy that is running in the backend. 4 processes are running. Wow. Sending close. I think this is the last one. Okay. So let's wait for this. What is it? Okay. So as I wait for this process to respond, so let me tell you what is it. So on the left-hand panel in the Python console, you have something called red in the square braces. This is nothing but if you see a command which is like long running command and it is not responding, like I happen to be facing it now, you can just click on stop the console. so that it will completely stop whatever you have here. And then if you have to go and rerun everything again right from the beginning, you have to just click this so that it will rerun the console, and it will open up the console for your execution. Okay, so these are the two things that you should know. And let me basically check what's happening with my system. So because I also have this in the topics today about the sessions, right? So I think because I'm facing the performance issues now, I can really show how do I face this problem. Okay, so you see my Python console, somehow it has stuck and it is not responding. So how do I deal with it? Okay, so in my case, I have terminal, and you might be doing the same thing for your Windows as well. So I would just say ps-ef, which means that show me all the processes which are running in the background with the name Python, right? So I should give a grep command, and then I should say Python. So let's see. Now you see there is an application which is running Python in the background, which is nothing but from PyCharm. So how do I know that it is a PyCharm? So you see in the location, I have PyCharm. So there is a process called 9370. This is the process ID. The second number is called the process ID, and which is running in the operating system in the background. And then this is the PyCharm application. Again, for the guys who are not comfortable using a command line console, I would prefer to open Task Manager if you have the Windows system, or Activity Monitor if you have Mac OS. So if I go to Activity Monitor, so what is my a process ID? 93780, right? So I can just sort it by PID. So what is 93780? See, this is the one. So this is a process ID which is running my Python console. Okay, and the parent is PyCharm. So how do I know parent? This Python is a child of the PyCharm, because you see the another process ID 93750. This is the parent process ID. So what is running with 93750? PyCharm. So this Python is a child of this PyCharm. Okay, so this Python has stuck now, right? It is not responding for me on this console, correct? I basically have to identify what is my process ID of my Python, and I can say, delete this. Okay, but sadly on the activity monitor, you don't have this action of, stopping this. What do? I basically come back to my command line console if it is Mac, but in the task manager on Windows, you can directly right click it. You can kill the process. I'm killing the process abruptly because it is not responding for me. So I go to my terminal. The command to kill from the terminal on Mac OS is kill-9, and do not give parent process ID. Give the process ID of your child. Child is nothing but only this console. If you kill the parent, that is 93750, your complete PyCharm session will shut down. But my PyCharm session is not the problem. Only the Python console inside the PyCharm is the problem for me. Okay, so that's the reason I'm only killing child. So as soon as I kill the child, you see the information here. This process finished with exit code. There is some kill operation from the external sources. So it has killed it. See, that's the beauty. So this is how I just killed the process. In this process, the topic that I wanted to cover in the last, I have dealt it now. Luckily, I have to be lucky to show you this scenario, because you will not see often Python getting stuck like this. Okay, because it happened now, it is well and good. I was able to give you a real-time scenario showing you how to identify the process which is running in the background, all right, and then kill it. Now come back to activity monitor. You don't see that here. Only PyCharm you have. There is no Python process name if you observe carefully. When will you get Python, process? Now when I say rerun here, this icon, it will generate a Python console. See, the Python console has been enabled for you. Now come back to your Python activity monitor. You see Python on the top. And this 93822 is the new process ID on my system, for which the parent still remains 93750. If you want to check, come back to this console and just say again, show me all the processes with the name Python. Now you see 93822. The parent of this is the same PyCharm console. So your PyCharm console is always there. And whenever you want to get into the Python console from the PyCharm, it opens up a parent process ID or the process ID. Okay. Now, because we are with the process ID, so let me actually cover up OS pieces first. Okay. Now, because we have seen what is the process ID called, 93822 from the external sources, not from the Python, right? From the Python, if I have to do that, you have to utilize a package called OS, right? You have to import that into your Python console. It has been imported successfully. Now, after this, you just say print os dot get PID. You see the beauty of it? Now, if I say this, what's happening? I'm executing only this command. You see 93822, surprisingly. The same process ID that you see from the external sources, it's the same process ID even if you want to see from inside the system. But from the terminal, you have used a different command to identify this. But if you want to do the same job inside the Python console, this is how you do it. Now, how did you get this happen? So first you are loading a package into your Python console. Inside this package, there is a function called getPID. When I call this os.getPID, it is basically going and getting the process ID of the Python terminal. That's what you're seeing here. And I'm asking it to print on the screen. That's the reason you are seeing it on the screen. And in case if I wanted to assign this value called 93882 to a variable, I'm creating a variable, right? So you see here, before I create it in the special variables, I don't have that variable that I'm going to create now. And whenever I said import OS, that OS type is module here. Observe carefully. The name is module. As I told you, whatever we are having inside the import, these are called packages, modules, or libraries. It is one and the same. Okay, so module, library, or packages is nothing but group of functions which are available for you to utilize for your requirements. What is my requirement in the current scenario? To get the process ID. I have utilized it. Okay. Now, as I was about to tell you, if I have to assign this, my process ID, I'm creating a variable, and I wanted to assign 9388 to the output of this command into the variable. Simply copy paste this and execute this line. Done. If you observe carefully, in the variables panel here, you have this variable with the name process ID, and it is nothing but the integer data type, and the value inside the variable is 93822. Now later, after 200 lines of the code, if you want to print the value of this variable, you have to just say print and then variable value without the double quotes. What happens if you give double quotes? See, if you don't give double quotes, you get the value inside the variable. If you give double quotes, it prints exactly the same thing. Okay, so that's the difference. In Python, again, the next rule is whatever you give inside the double quotes, it's a text. It doesn't get you the value out of it. If you don't give double quotes and if you are printing like this, it expects there is a value inside this variable like this, and it will print the value for you, not the name. It will print the value inside the variable. Okay, so that's the purpose of, first of all, import. Import is an action to actually load the external packages which are available on your system, Python packages, into your current Python console. After it is imported, you can start utilizing the functions inside this package or module. Now you might ask me, how do I know what are the available functions inside this package called OS, right? Very simply, the reason I told you that your PyCharm is going to be your friend and also helps coder, Python developers to code better, is because of this. Just say OS dot. See the beauty of it? It is giving you what are all the list of functions available inside this package. So in case if you forget something, you can go through this a list and you can identify. If I wanted to say get my current working directory, okay, so print where am I at this point of time when you were executing this command. It will tell you which location are you. See, exactly this is the location of my project, right? In the last session, I created the project in this location only, right? It is telling you you are in that location. Great. Let me try something else. OS dot. Let me get the parent process ID. What is the parent process ID, guys, from Activity Monitor? We know the parent for this Python console is PyCharm, and the process ID is 93750. If I have to get parent process ID, instead of get PID, it is get PPID. So, which means that get process ID. Sorry, parent's process ID. Now let's see what is the output of this. Even before we wait for the output, we know the answer, right? It should be 93750. Is that right? Let's see. Absolutely. See, this is how you can use the modules and you can solve your purposes. I'm not saying that how do I use this in my real time? This is one simple question that everybody would get at this point of time, but keep them as a good to know things. As you know these basic things better, you will use the same thing for your specific requirements also, user specific requirements, which we are going to come a little later. All right. Similarly, for OS, you also have something called list directory. Let me copy paste now here. Something called list directory. Correct. So in the current directory, list everything that you have. These are all the list of files that you have in the current directory. That's what you also see here on the left side console. But using the command also, you're also going to see. Right. And another thing that you can see is OS name path. And very importantly, let me show you this piece. Right. And by the way, you can, if you only say OS name also, it will give you the output. If you say print OS name as well, it will give you the output. Okay. But what is the difference then? What is the difference between print and just executing a command? Print basically, makes sure that it returns the output even after, whatever are the lines that you're running the code. For example, let me make it clear. So when I select these 5 lines together or 10 lines together and execute, you see you're seeing output of process ID. That is the first one. Second one is also the print this one, so process ID. Next print is my process ID, so you're getting it. Next print is current working directory, you're getting it. Next print is parent process ID, you're getting it. Next one is list dir, you're getting it. But when I executed, I also executed os.name. You're not seeing the output here. So when you only run the lines individually, you see the output like this. But when you run this line along with the other lines in the code, you don't see the output like this. If you want to see forcibly, if I run as a single line or if I run as a multiple lines, I should see the output. Always make it a habit to use print as a command. Don't just do this. Okay. So that way you can also use OS path. You can say what path it is. And very importantly, if you want to see your system information from the Python console, see what is it doing. The sys name is Darwin. That is my system's name is this, my MacBook's name, and what release of OS we have, etc. And what is the time, right? What is the machine architecture? It is 64-bit architecture, etc. So all of this is possible just because I imported OS module into my Python kernel and I started executing the functions inside that piece. Similarly, there is another package which comes by default when you install your Python is sys. So if you want to see the version of your Python, just see this again, because there is no print statement, this did not return anything. But when I say print sys.version, it is saying, I'm sorry, print sys.version, it is saying you are using Python 3.7.6. So sys package is used to get details about your Python kernel. OS is a package that is used to get any information related to your operating system, not related to the Python. If anything that you wanted to get the attributes related to the Python, sys is a package. Similarly, in which path, see, all your packages are available. For example, whenever I'm saying import sys and import OS, where are these packages actually available on your system? It might be available in this path. It might be available in this path, right? It might be available in this path. It might be available in any of these paths. This is very, very same as setting the path variable in your operating system. So that path variable will tell where are the Python packages defaultly loaded. Okay. I know you are having trouble in reading it completely on the screen because of the print issue. Now, I'm also sending the variable into a different thing called platform. I can also print platform. Now, if you might be having a question, if I have to see all the default modules which are available on the system today, how do I know? Along with OS and sys, there might be a lot of other modules also installed, right? So just say print sys.modules. You see the beauty of it. These are all the system modules which are available, right? And the name is like, what is the name of it? Frozen import lib external. This is the package which is there. That's a module, right? But see the painful part of it. You have to drag and it is not that clear for you to read it. So how do I print it so that I can read it properly? That is where comes pprint. Okay. So pprint is very similar to, pprint is very similar to print, but it is not by default available. You have to import it. So I have to import a pprint package which comes by default. And instead of saying just print and the variable, I have to say pprint.sys.modules. Now you see you have a very readable format of the output. Now you see what are the default packages which has been installed along with the software. So the packages like Django templates, console thrift, context lib, copy. These are all the packages which has got installed by default. And you might be searching where is sys in this list. You will definitely have sys in this list. So let me go there. So I'll show you. Yeah, S has come here. SY is here. See, sys is a module which is installed by default. That's the reason this command was successful. You might be thinking, do I have OS? Yes, OS will also be there, right? Cool. And then that is it. So you have to know print and pprint. Pprint is basically used for human readable thing. Okay. And very importantly, if you have multiple lines to print, you can write something like this: print hello article, blah blah blah. But see, even when you have the multiple lines to execute like this, it basically prints in single line. What is the solution to also print in the second line? You have to just say /n. And as soon as you say /n and you print this complete one, what does it do? It basically throws a new line for your each and every line that you have here. So if you have multiple lines of prints, you basically have to embed everything into double quotes and then you have to print it like this. Cool. And the next one and the last topic for me is to installing the new packages. Okay. So if you go to, as I told you in the last session, right? So let me take you through that. If you go to python.org, there is something called PyPy on the top, right? So in this, you can install, you can actually search for a project called LinkedIn, right? So there are a lot of packages with the same LinkedIn. Why am I doing it? If I have to use a LinkedIn and through the Python program, I wanted to go search something on the LinkedIn and get the results into the Python program, I can really do it today. And you might be wondering how. Somebody has already developed a package for you and it is readily available for you in PyPy called LinkedIn. If you just install this package on your operating system, using a pip as a utility which comes by default, you can start looking at this example, write your own Python program to use your LinkedIn credentials, go get the data from LinkedIn into your Python program. That's the beauty of packages. So that's the reason in the introductory session, I was telling you guys that Python is available for any requirement that you can think of on your mind. You have already defined packages available. You have to just install it. After installing, you should learn from the documentation how to use that package, because everybody must have designed with their own rules, own structure. You need to understand that, right? So now how do I install it on my system? Simple. Go here. You will have something called terminal. Click on this terminal. Just say pip3 space install LinkedIn. This is a syntax. It will directly go, see here, it will directly go to PyPy and it will install LinkedIn 0.1.5. Exactly the same thing here, right? Instead of pip install, you should say pip3 because you are using Python 3 as the version, right? So pip3 is a utility for Python 3. Pip is a utility for Python 2. Cool. So after installing it, now if you say import LinkedIn, it will be successful because you have installed it now using the terminal. Okay. In case if you don't want to install terminal, for example, if I say some other package which is not installed and not available, okay, something like this, I did not install this. So let me say import Cassandra package. Okay, this is not available on your system. Directly, your PyCharm is telling you with the underline saying that this package you don't have on your system. So what should you do? Instead of you typing it on the terminal install, here directly when you click on this, there is a hint given to you. When you click on Cassandra, sorry, where is it? Oh, sorry. When you click on Cassandra, you see a red icon, bulb icon, you click here and you say install, that's it. It will do the same job that you have done from the terminal. Either you can install your packages, go to the terminal and give this command. That will get the packages from PyPy onto your system so that you can utilize them. Or you can just hover on this icon wherever you see the underline after the import, and you just say package, install package. It will do the same job for you. Either which ways, you are basically installing the packages. What are all the list of packages that you have? In the pypy.org, there are n number of packages available for you. Any requirement that comes on top of your head, do not think, how do I program? You have to learn how to read the documentations available and utilize it for your requirement. All right. So with this, I assume that we have covered all of this, and then we know what is a package, what is that we should install, etc., etc. Okay. So I only have 5 more minutes for you guys to take quickly any questions as I wrap it up here. Any questions, please? No questions?
Kumar, did you send us the link to how to install the Python, like a video clip or something?
Yeah, it was yesterday's email. Sorry, yesterday's session, right? We had.
Yeah, I was trying to click on the video, right, but it's telling me private. So
Okay.
I don't know if
That means that you must have logged into multiple Google accounts on your browser. Please log out from all of them and only log in with the account that you have registered. Then you will be able to play it for sure.
Okay. When I try, when I download it, I'll let you know. I'll give you a shot of screen and then let you know.
Sure.
Okay.
Hi Kumar, I'm Seema here.
Hey Seema.
Hi, actually I've installed PyCharm, but when I'm trying to shut down my system, it is not letting me shut it down.
Which OS do you have, by the way?
Mac.
Okay, Mac should not do it. So in that case, just go and do the same command that I did here. So instead of that, you just say ps-hef and just say grep PyCharm. Okay. You should see what is the background process that is running for the PyCharm. See, it should be something like this. Okay.
Okay.
And this is a process, right? The second number is the process ID. Then please kill it forcibly, right?
Okay.
Kill space 9 and then this process ID. It will kill it for you so that, you know,
Okay.
it is not stopping. I know sometimes Mac gets hung with the applications. If applications are not closed, Mac will not shut down.
Okay, so this I have to do in PyCharm only. This.
You have to come to terminal and then kill it.
Terminal. Okay, that's fine.
Cool.
Okay,
so this is the one. You can also check this video later and then you can, you know, clear it off like this.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody else was asking something.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
How do you check whether particular package is installed or not? Suppose there are n number of packages as part of Python, right? Suppose if you want any package like OS package, we don't know whether it is installed.
As I said, your PyCharm is your friend. So as soon as you say import a package name, right? It basically it gives you an underline in case if it is not installed. And see, these packages are already there. So that's the reason there is no error for me.
Okay.
Right. So if I say something like this, as I have shown you previously, if I say import Cassandra, this is not there in my packages. It is directly telling you as an underline. You don't have it.
Okay. Thank you.
2 more minutes. Anybody?
the deployment steps, there are A,
All right, did somebody had a question for me, or it was a background noise? Okay, and before even, I wanted to close this, please make sure, though you get this file, please practice it yourself. Okay, so only if you type it yourself on your own text editor, you will get the hands-on, else you will not. All right. Okay, thank you guys. In case if you have further questions, please feel free to WhatsApp me.
Hi Pawan, can you send me the recorded sessions?
Yeah, you will get it. You must have got the instructions on your email already.
Yeah, I just sent you my email in the chat box.
Okay, sure. Not in the chat box, please WhatsApp me. All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you for the day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.